Hi, Jules Strawberry here to talk to you about the eclipse. I'm super excited about the eclipse, and I've been excited about it since last year. Seriously, last year there was an eclipse in October, and it swept across the western United States, western to southeast, and this April 8th, 2024, it's going to sweep from the south up through the north. So I was in New Mexico for the last eclipse in October, and I'll be here in Texas, in Austin, for the April 8th, 2024 eclipse. This is exciting because the next eclipse in the United States will be 20 years from now. 20 years is a long time, y'all. So let's talk about what we're going to see and why this is so exciting. Now, I like to use props, as you may have learned. And this cute little astronaut that was made by my friend Stacy, this is going to represent me standing on the earth. And this is going to represent the moon. This strawberry represents the sun. So normally the moon goes around the earth and it does its thing, and every once in a while it lines up to where the moon is in between me and the sun. Now, the moon's orbit is sometimes closer and sometimes further away, and so sometimes there's a partial eclipse, and where they don't actually line up properly, and sometimes it's in such a way that it's not going to obscure the sun 100%, but this time it's going to be a total eclipse. And what does that look like from the vantage point of the person? Well, I'm going to switch from these props to these. So if this is the sun, which is far, far away, so it's super huge, but in the sky it looks about this big. And then the moon passes in front of it, and again, not really in front, it's between the viewer and the sun. Then you've got a partial eclipse going to a total eclipse. Now notice I said total, and by total I meant centered. They are concentric, meaning that the centers of their circles, when viewed, are approximately in the same spot. But notice that the sun still shows around the moon. That's the corona. So the corona can still burn your eyeballs. So don't look at it, okay? We have special glasses that we can wear so that we can look at the sun. Well, these aren't like regular sunglasses. I like these. Aren't those cool? These were from Rice University. So thank you, Rice University here in Houston, Texas. So eclipse glasses are polarized. And what do I mean by polarized? There are little bitty lines, parallel lines on the film, and there may even be some that are this way and some that are this way, perpendicular to each other. And those help block a lot of the light, and by getting them closer together, you can block certain wavelengths of light so that those wavelengths don't hurt your eyes. Okay, so between the layers of film, just like your sunglasses are dark to block certain light and maybe coated to block certain lights, this also has that. In addition, it has polarization, which are the lines that help block even more wavelengths of light or radiation. So that's why we wear special glasses. Another thing that we can do to see the eclipse is a pinhole viewer. Now, I was very skeptical about this because it sounds kind of silly whenever you think about it. But you take a piece of cardboard and you poke, I've got a little stick pin here, like you use for a cork board. You poke a pin in there and you make just an itsy bitsy hole. And then you hold that up to the sun, being careful not to look at the sun unless you have your glasses on. And you shine the sun through the hole onto a second piece of cardboard. And on this, it's like a projector. On the second piece of cardboard, you'll be able to see the sun in shadow and be able to look at it. So if you vary the distance between the pieces of cardboard, you can make the image bigger or smaller. So you can experiment with putting that piece of cardboard on the ground and putting the pinhole up and down to see how far away you want it. And then you can take pictures of the cardboard. And that way it's safe. Some people like to use their cell phone to view the sun. I don't recommend it because you can look around it and accidentally hurt your eyes, or you can burn out your cell phone camera. Take that with a grain of salt. I've also seen people put the cell phone inside. I've got my strawberry cell phone here. Inside the glasses, same thing. I don't recommend it because you can accidentally look up and that'll hurt your eyes. And you might also hurt your equipment. And with cameras, you have to have a special lens or a special filter on your lens in order to look at the sun. There have actually been famous astronomers in the past who have burnt their eyeballs, their retinas, looking at the sun through a telescope during an eclipse. So, friends, be very, very careful and protect yourself. Another thing that you can do during the eclipse is look at the ground. There are some pretty awesome shadows during an eclipse. They look like a bunch of circles overlapping, and it's almost looks like fish scales. It's very cool. And also observe the animals around you. Some animals will think it's bedtime. Oh, I'm not really tired, but it's dark outside. Let's go to bed. And they'll start to get into their little nests, start going to their burrows and get ready for bed. Other animals will be freaked out and run in circles. So it might be fun to look around and observe the animals. And I've heard this thing about wearing red and green during the eclipse and how those colors look differently. So why don't we experiment with all of those things and see what works, and then we'll get back together and discuss it after we experience the eclipse. Because again, we're not going to have another one until 2020. So I hope you have a nice weekend and a nice, safe eclipse viewing. Again, wear your glasses or use a pinhole viewer. Do not look directly at the sun, even though it's just the corona, it's just a ring of the sun. It's not the full sun. It still can hurt you. Friends, thank you for tuning in. Happy innovating.